Welcome back to another Pat's Acres Super Series Open Class Final Race video. This took place this past Tuesday. I guess that would be the 1st? Yeah, I think that's right, August 1st. This is round 5 of the summer league out here. This is the final race, starting from P8. I qualified P5. Heat number 1 was a little tricky. I had a pretty terrible cart that just could not turn right, which is, somewhat important to sprint racing. So, I dealt with that as best as I could, but ultimately lost a few positions. So, not too big of a deal. Starting the final here, P8. I believe there was maybe 15 or so drivers, so definitely more towards the front half of the pack, which is nice, especially on the first lap, just avoiding chaos. However, as you're about to see, this was quite the eventful race. Close racing, pretty much from start to finish, so a lot of fun, and again, another beautiful afternoon here at Pat's Acres. So here we are on the warm-up lap, just trying to get some heat into the tires, feel where the brakes are at. This kart's brakes felt pretty good. Steering, I was sort of sussing out on the outlap, and it felt pretty good. So I was feeling positive about what I could do in this race. So we're going to come here along the final corner, side by side, and line up. And the start of this is a little bit different than in the past. Basically, pole position decided when to go within the start box. So here we go. And green flag. Take a slight look here to the inside, see if there's a gap for me. Cover off any attack of the inside up turn 1. Ooh, strong contact there. Driver kind of turned down onto manual. And try to just stay on the bumpers here. Not worth trying to dive under them there in the 4th corner of the first lap. Easy way to ruin your race. I heard somebody tell me once, races aren't won on the first lap, but you can certainly lose them on the first lap. So just trying to keep my head down. Driving a little bit defensively, taking a defensive line there through the carousel just to make sure that nobody was going to try to sneak up along my side. Coming into the final corner, really important to get a good run here. If you don't, it impacts your speed down the entire front straight. Here, I think I could have maybe gone for a pass there, but again, early in the race, this is a 14-lap race. It's better to just stay on the bumper of the driver in front of me, push us along so that we don't lose touch with the leader group. A little bit of a gap here. My goal is just to stay on the bumper of these drivers ahead. I know they're quick. Emmanuel, the driver there with the navy blue shirt and the white patterned helmet ahead of me. He's currently leading the Open Class series this season, and he's an important person to try to pass. So, did not want to lose touch with that leading group over this long duration of the race. Kart's feeling pretty good. Top end is fine. It's not nothing. A few of these karts are rocket ships. It's not that, but definitely has enough to hang. Seeing some jockeying going on up ahead, which is thankfully benefiting me because they're slowing down a bit as they fight and attack. So able to close down the gap again and get right back on the bumper. We come through River 2. Beautiful sunset right in your eyes. Coming through the carousel here, pretty much flat out. Or definitely flat out, if you pick your line correctly. Spot the braking point, get back on the gas as soon as you can through that final corner, and set yourself up for the front straight. Here we see a driver go up the inside, up ahead. So generally when I'm racing, I'm definitely looking at the drivers ahead of me as we see a position switch there. But you're also sort of subconsciously watching your racing line. You're not just fixated on the bumper of the driver ahead of you. You also need to keep your eyes up so that you can see what's happening a few places ahead. so that if there is a mistake, you can capitalize on that and see it coming. So Emmanuel was able to get past the driver with the white helmet there. Now, a few of these corners, I felt like I was actually a little bit faster, so I was starting to feel encouraged that I might be able to do an overtake here at some point. Trying to be smart about when I go for that. Again, my kart was fine, but I didn't have a ton of advantage down the straight, so just had to feel it out. You see Emmanuel go down the inside there on another driver, holding the outside line through the hairpin. Doesn't quite make it stick. Not a whole lot of room for us to go through here. Again, tight driving. So Emmanuel not able to make that position stick. However, because of that chaos, I was able to get in front of that other driver and make up a position. So again here, I'm just going to try to push us along and connect with that driver up ahead of us. Locked up a little bit there. You see me have a big moment of counter steer going into that final corner. And you can see here just how it impacts your speed. Just that little bit of a mistake, I just could not hang on to Emmanuel's kart there. A little bit of a late move there, but the gap was open. Emmanuel able to make another pass. You see a kart, goes up my inside, come down, see if I can maintain that position. Need to leave room for that driver on the inside there on that left-hander. So overall, that really slowed me down. You can see the distance to Emmanuel now. And I lost position back to the driver there right in front of me. Although, I guess technically all three of us made up a position as we made it past that driver in light blue. But still, I'm trying to beat Emmanuel, and I really want to get back up on his bumper. Take the exit. A little wide there. Not wide, just using the full track, I guess. So I was honestly a little bit worried here. I saw this gap, and I was like, oh, gosh, this is going to be a boring race if I can't close down this gap. So really not focusing on trying to pass or really anything other than just try to drive fast laps and close down that lap, or close down that distance. This corner is River 1. Pretty fun, just a light lift, back on the gas early. Definitely can't go wide. The edge of the pavement shows up quick. And both in that corner and then the corner I just went through, the exit of River 2, you really don't want to dip your tires out, get them dirty. Going into the final corner with dirty tires is a recipe for that not hooking up. How about that sunset? Absolutely beautiful. Very thankful to have a tinted visor though. Alright, that hairpin corner, it's always tricky. I feel like there's a lot of time to be gained or lost there. You really gotta take that corner as fast as you can without losing the rear end and without pushing your front side. Depending on the kart, that speed changes, so you really have to adapt to your kart. Here I have the driver behind me right on my tail. You can kind of see the shadow of him. Coming through carousel, he was bumping me, and that's fair play, but you saw me kind of make a few corrections on the steering wheel there through the carousel, and that's why. Here I'm going to take a really defensive inside line into turn 1 just to block off any chance of an attack on the inside. He's right on me still. Didn't go for the move in the hairpin. Able to take a decent line through there. And one of the things I've been working on is not looking behind me as much while we're driving. It really takes your focus off of what's coming up ahead, and to a certain extent, it doesn't really matter. Your goal should be putting in fast laps and not concerning yourself really with what the person is doing behind you. However, there are times when maybe it makes sense to cover off the inside of a corner to prevent an overtake. But you can actually use your ears quite a bit. You can hear the kart coming up alongside you between the other kart's engine and also just the way that the actually sounds is just slightly different. You can just sort of tell that there's someone next to you coming up your inside, which is pretty cool. And it's something that I'm just kind of tuning into more and more as I work on not, using the crutch of constantly looking behind me. So that's been a lot of fun to improve upon and tune into. So again, I'm seeing this gap up ahead. Haven't really been able to close it down because I was fending off an attack from the driver behind me. Mostly clear at this point. I don't feel him, bumping me along. So again, focusing on putting in fast laps, trying to close down that gap. One thing I forgot to mention is, unlike the previous Super Series videos that I've posted, there was enough drivers this evening to actually force the race format to be what they call Format A. So what they did is the open class and pro class raced together, or qualified, had our own heat and had our own final. And then the rookie class, the heavy class, and the junior class all raced together in their own qualifying, their own heat, and their own final sessions. So less people on the track at one time, which has been nice. So here, see a little bit of jockeying between Emmanuel and that other driver, which slows him down and allows me to close down that gap. So really paying attention to what's going on ahead here. Emmanuel's going to go up the inside into River 1, able to make that stick. However, gives up the inside back to the other driver and loses the position. Now we're all three in a line again, and I'm back in this, and I'm very excited. So we're coming towards the end of the race here, so just trying to pick my moment and stay on these guys' bumper. Not quite as good of an exit there compared to the other two. Hopefully I can make it up into the corners. Emmanuel goes up the inside on turn 1, able to hold on to it. The driver's going to just stay in line through the hairpin. I'm able to just hang on and get back onto the bumper. Pretty even driving from all three of us through River 1 and 2. Emmanuel makes a mistake there and dips his tire. Driver in front of me looked like he was going to go for the move, so I kept my foot down, and then he ultimately didn't, so we made a little bit of rubbing contact there. All good there. No harm, no foul. Better run this time as we see the white flag, last lap. A little bit of contact there. Able to close the gap. Right on each other's bumpers. Last lap. Here's where it counts. Go up the inside on the hairpin. Able to stay in front of him here. However, he comes back. Retakes it on the left-hander. He kind of pushes me. I think it was fair now that I've watched the video, but yeah, there's a little bit of rubbing. I'm able to get a way better exit out of River 2, so now I'm back on the bumper of this driver ahead of me. And one corner left to make something happen. To the inside, and able to take the inside, a little bit of an over and under there, and beat him to the line maybe 6 inches, 8 inches or so, and drive race to the finish. So, finished P5. Really, really fun race. A lot of close driving, a lot of position swaps. And one thing I didn't mention is that driver ahead of me in the white shirt, he's actually in the pro class, not open class, so we weren't technically even racing each other. So all is good there. Finished P5 in the open class. So making up 3 positions. Pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, did not beat Emmanuel. He's the leader in the championships, so didn't get a points advantage on him, but all's good. This is actually the last league race that I can attend this year, so that'll be it for the Super Series for us. Thanks for watching along. It's always fun. If you're in the area, interested in karting and actually racing for positions, definitely come out, give it a try. It's a ton of fun and a good way to learn racecraft without too much of an investment. So, all right, thanks everyone.